IGT, baby.
What's cracking, y'all? It's your boy Jingle Mafia coming back to you with another video. So we gotta talk about WrestleMania Night 2. It fucking delivered. You know, I think this alone has saved WrestleMania, especially after what happened at night 1. So we're gonna get right into it. We ain't gonna waste no time. So without further ado, let's dive right in. So he had the first match to kick off WrestleMania, and that was Obafemi taking on Brock Lesnar. So Oba coming out there, he's doing the Oba show. The crowd is chanting, Oba, Oba. So it is loud and electric. And this was a good way to kick off the show. I was excited for that. So as he coming in there, when Brock Lesnar music hits, so it's point when they're in the ring now. Bell rings, and now these two are colliding with each other. You know, just to fill each other out in regards to who's the stronger man. And you see, Obafemi is literally manhandling Brock Lesnar, hitting him with shoulder tackles, even pushing him as well. So he's just letting him know, like, I'm the dominant person here. You ain't gonna bully me here. So in the midst of that, and he gets some offense in and stuff like that, you know, it was a matter of time until Brock Lesnar starts to take advantage of it. So he has that, proceeds to, you know, throw him into the ring post. Then he puts him back in the ring, start hitting him with German suplexes and all that stuff. So at this point now, in typical Brock Lesnar fashion, you know, there's German suplexes, and you know it's gonna lead to an F5, which in this match he had never connected with it. Oba made sure that he prevented that, and that's exactly what he did. And the match only lasted 4 minutes, but the 4 minutes was worth it, because towards the tail end of it, when Brock thought he had an upper hand there, Oba shut that shit down, picks him up for the fall for grace, and covers him for the 1, for the 2, for the 3, and he walks away as the winner. And this felt so good. This man avenged the losses from Kofi Kingston, from Big E, from what's his name? What's his homie name? It's escaping me right now. I call him Giga Negro. Omos, there you go. So he avenged a lot of people who fell by the hands of Brock Lesnar, and this felt so special right here. Shout out to my homie Dub. You know, I know he was emotional behind this too, just seeing how Obafemi dominated Brock Lesnar the way he did, and it just packed him up. So much so, chat, what threw all of us off, once it was all said and done, over the ramp and shit like that, Brock Lesnar was in the middle of the ring, and he's just standing there, just soaking in the moment. So we thinking like, all right, what's this leading to? And it's to the point where he started taking his combat gloves off, started taking his boots off and stuff like that, and he's just sitting there and embracing the moment. And at that part right there, it made us think for a second, is he about to retire? And long and behold, you see him crying, thanking the fans and stuff like that. Even had Paul Heyman emotional and stuff as they was hugging. And we could pretty much say this was a swan song for Brock Lesnar. So, bottom line, this was already 10 out of 10 because the sheer fact of Obafemi destroying Brock the way he did and sending his man into retirement. WrestleMania was already 10 out of 10 just for that. But all bullshit aside, you know, I want to say thank you to Brock Lesnar on a magnificent career. You know, he definitely was the last ass kicker in WWE and dominating for a long period of time. So, you know, I definitely want to get my respect and also salute him on a magnificent career. Many hated him for holding the championship hostage and all that too as a part-timer, haven't been heavily involved with the company that much, especially towards, you know, the mid 2010s and late 2010s, all of that stuff. But you can never deny what this man delivers and brings to the table when it's all said and done. He know how to put asses in seats and know how to fucking dominate. So give respect for respect is due, man. On a job well done, magnificent career. And this is it. We want to say thank you, Brock. So he was embracing the moment with the crowd, just an emotional moment there too. But it just to turn the page to let you know who now the dominating big man in WWE. And now it's over for me. So that was a good way to kick off the show. Fired up already. So it really was a 10 out of 10. And we follow that up with the 6-man ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship of Penta, JD McDonough, Rusev, Dragon Lee, Rey Mysterio, and Javon Evans. And let me tell you something right now. Each of those guys in that matchup dominated. And I'll give them a round of applause. I gotta give him a round of applause. I couldn't be able to take notes because, just me and, being in the stream, trying to, watch the match for itself and, also entertain at that. I couldn't really take notes, so I'm gonna just go off, from what I saw a bit to the best of my knowledge. If you haven't already, I could go check it out for yourself and so I appreciate y'all. But it was multiple spots that happened there too. Like it was one spot where you see Penta, he's hitting multiple Mexican pile drivers, Mexican destroyers, excuse me, on a lot of people. But I think the most dangerous part that he did was hit one on JD McDonough on the ladder. I think that was the brutalest spot right there. You're also seeing Rey Mysterio who collided with Rusev on outside of the ladder, and the ladder pretty much destroyed, taking Rusev out of the equation. So salute to Rusev, who was using the ladder and was putting everybody with it and all that too. Using that to his advantage too. So he's seen a lot of multiple things, from every superstar, that had their moments. Shout out to Dragon Lee, him hitting Hurricanranas and stuff like that. Even with Rey Mysterio, who was hitting 619. I think either Dragon Lee had the ladder, like he was sandwiched between the ladder, and you see Rey Mysterio hits a 619 on him and shit like that. So there was a lot of memorable moments, even to the point where Javon Evans, man's hit a fucking OG cutter from the top rope on a Rusev, would look like a crazy spot there too. Crowd was electric from start to finish. It was very fast paced from start to, from the start of the match towards the end of the match, man. And you got to get credit when credit is due in that aspect, because it's to keep up with all those people and the way they compete. It was tough, but it was very fast paced. And towards the tail end of it, you see Penta, standing tall, climbing up the ladder right there to capture his IC championship and retain it. So I thought that match itself was also a 10 out of 10. So to have both 10 out of 10 matches on the first hour of ESPN right there, they knocked it out the park. Shout out to those guys right there. So it was a banger after banger right there. And, it was going to be tough for the next match to follow that up. And the next match we ended up getting was Sami Zayn versus Trick Williams for the United States Championship. When Sami comes out there, he just got a breath of boos. They were singing the song a little bit, but you heard the boos more than that. So he gets into the ring, and Lil Yachty come out there to introduce Trick Williams. Trick Williams with the all white on coat, and he had this type of attachment to his jacket, whatever it was, and his jacket towards the ramp area. But it was fire though too. You hit to whoop that Trick all around the arena too. So it was definitely fired up for this. And the match itself, it was solid for what it was. We knew Lil Yachty was going to get involved, especially him being there by ringside, and him costing Sami Zayn the best way he could. So it was to the point where he even knocks him out and all that stuff, but Trick Williams was able to take advantage of that too and get some offense in. But towards the tail end of the match, Lil Yachty gets involved again, and Sami Zayn turns his attention to him. So once it was done, you see Trick Williams hits his version of Trouble of Paradise and connects with Sami Zayn. So he pins it for the 1-2, but it was a kick out. Then after that, Sami Zayn was able to capitalize, with a Haluva kick to a Blue Thunder Bomb, and Trick Williams was able to kick out of that. Then he proceeds to hit an exploder onto the corner. So once it was done, we're then okay. Now he's setting up for the Helluva Kick again. But right before he's running to execute it, Trick Williams was able to intercept that with a trick shot, covers him for the 1, for the 2, for the 3, and we have got your new United States champion in Trick Williams. And I was excited for that, because I was pushing forward for Trick Williams to win at WrestleMania and to win this match, because it made the most sense, especially how much nuclear heat Sammy been getting just by default. Nobody wanted him to be champion, and especially with him being Carmelo Hayes to do so, to have a spot at WrestleMania, fans wasn't feeling that. So on one point, I thought we was gonna get a double turn in this match because I was pushing for it, but I guess that ain't happening. We probably will get that, this SmackDown after WrestleMania, and we'll probably see something like that go down. And so it was dope. He in the middle of the ring, embracing and all that. Pyro going off, all of that shit. So it was dope to see there. Very good match. And I definitely had a good time with that. Next, we had Finn Balor taking on Dominic. And Dominic coming out there, his entrance too has everybody in the lucha mask and stuff like that, and he's sitting on top of this throne there. So it was a good entrance there. As much as people who may not liked it, let's be real, he nailed it there. So that was dope and all. And then of course you have the Demon Finn Balor make his entrance, and he's also like fire. It was good to see him again. We haven't seen him since his match against, I think, Edge at WrestleMania 39. So that was the last time we ever saw the Demon again, and he looked dominant in his matches. It was an okay match, for it to be a street fight, because they end up changing it from a regular match to a street fight match. Both men had some offense in it too. My biggest gripe I would say about this, was the sheer fact of they didn't have a lot of weapons to utilize with. We had the tables, we had the chairs involved, kendo sticks, all those things. But I feel like in these scenarios, I want to switch it up more now and add matches. Matches. I'll add more weapons involved to make things more interesting. You know what I mean? So I expect more of that going forward. But albeit they used what they had to their advantage, and they definitely delivered that. So the climax of the match, you see Finn Balor, he has this chair over the neck of Dominic, and he does this diving kick, on when the opponent hits the turnbuckle thing. But Dominic had the chair on him, and it got to him, and it that was going to be the turning point of the match. So once it was done, he put Dominic onto the table, goes up there, hits the coup de grace, on there, covers him for the 1, for the 2, for the 3, and he ends up winning the match, which was the right call there too. So it was a dope moment to see the Demon Finn Balor, get his win and revitalize his character. It was long overdue, and I'm glad we were able to see that on full display. So there was that. But next, we had the women's championship match, and Jade Cargill versus Rhea Ripley. A match itself, but I felt like just the booking itself has been absolute horseshit. Absolute horseshit. But as the match began, it was very slow paced, so to speak. But we saw some stiff shots on both Jade Cargill and on Rhea Ripley's end. So, it was cool to see, and then things started to pick up towards the middle of it. Jade kept arguing with the ref for the whole duration of time, so it would be her, either slowly, methodically beating up Rhea Ripley, and her took her to the ref, bullying him and shit like that. That's supposed to have been like most of the match, so at the beginning of it, but the middle of it, that's when we started seeing Rhea get some offense and all, and we knew there was going to be some shenanigans with B-Fab and Michin being a part of it to try to help out Jade, in this situation. So, as they try to get involved with, you had Meechin to have the ref to distract them and stuff like that, and B-Fab try to take advantage, but she's trying to have, prevent that from happening. And the numbers game started to play a focal point up until Io makes her way straight down to the ring to handle both Meechin and B-Fab. And it was to the point where, it caught Jade's attention. And as she gets someone to the side of the ring, and Jade looking to try to big boot her, but she missed because Io ended up hitting a moonsault on both B-Fab and Meechin again, taking them out of the equation. So this is where Jade took her out of the ball, where Rhea Ripley is prepared for her and turns around and try to hit a riptide, but you see Jade try to get out of there, counters her and all that, even trying to put her under Jaded, but Rhea is able to counter that into the riptide, and she finally connects it and pins her for the 1, for the 2, for the 3, and she is your new women's champion. And in my opinion, I chose Jade to win this match because I felt like as many times we've seen Rhea Ripley in this at WrestleMania, she's competing for a title and all, it kind of felt like they've been doing that constantly and shit. And I wanted to see something change. Now, albeit last year she did lose when it was a triple threat between herself, Io, and Bianca Belair. But and this time around, I'm going to see her just out of the championship picture. And in this case right here, and her beating Jade, I'm like, had mixed feelings on, because I wanted Jade to retain the title and see how can they go move forward with her, and what some other matches they can have prepared for her as she's champion. I feel like when she won it from Tiffany Stratton last year, you could count off the hands how many times she actually defended the title, which is sad. So that's on creative fault for not booking her as dominant as she was. So that was my biggest takeaway from that right there. But congratulations to Rhea Ripley on catching her I forgot how many titles she got now, but shout out to her for getting the job done and all that. She celebrating with Io in the middle of the ring and pyro going off and all that stuff. So that was dope. Then we of course had John Cena out again, as the host there, which I think they just need to get rid of the host as the whole, because he was only there to introduce us to WrestleMania and then there to do the live attendance of people that was in the event. So in the midst of him doing that stuff, The Miz and Kit Wilson come out there. Miz ranted about not having his WrestleMania moment, typical shit, blah 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 blah. I didn't really care that much about it. Then we had Dan Harson, like a bunch of midgets dressed as Dan Harson right there, as he made his entrance there, and he comes out there in like a mini tank or something like that. So he goes in there and they just enjoying the moment, of Dan Harson being there and being the in the ring. So in the midst of that, Mrs. pissed off, end up mushing one of the little midgets and stuff, and one of them proceeds to punch Kit Wilson in the nuts. So he punches him in the nuts. He drops him. Then you see Miz. He's just trying to go in there and stop all of them, but they end up jumping Kit Wilson as well. And this is where Dan Harson takes advantage of it and punches the Miz in the nuts, and they proceeds to carry this man up out of the ring and shit like that. So they carry him up out of there. So I'm like, I'm glad this shit is done. Let's get ready to move on to the main event. So main event comes, and Roman Reigns, his entrance, chef kiss. This man always deliver when it comes to his entrance. And what add the icing on the cake, they brought back his old theme song. I'm like, thank you. The theme song for the tribal chief that we had during the pandemic days, the Roman Reigns, who dominated 2021 all the way up to 2024. That Roman Reigns, I was glad to see that thing song bring back. We haven't heard that since WrestleMania 40 of night 1, where I was there when they had the tag team match of him and Rock versus Cody and Seth Rollins and all. Because night 2, they introduced a new thing for him when he had the Bloodline Rules match with Cody Rhodes. And it's been like that since then. So to see that make a comeback, in this main event, we love to see it. And it was dope. Man, with all farming the pyro going on crazy, all of that shit. Then CM Punk gives this promo package and is giving the history, from his journey from starting in pro wrestling to making it to WWE, to him leaving and to him coming back. So that was a good transition from that. And you see him making his way, towards the to the arena. And they playing his 2005 Ring of Honor theme song. And that was pretty dope to see, as a callback to that. And, he wearing this jacket to pay homage to people that really was a big part of his life, becoming a professional wrestler. And then you saw a patch of Larry right there in the front. So I thought that was really dope. Comes out there, no music at all. He does his clubbing time, boom, called the personality hit. So that was a good way to come out there. It had us prepared and ready for this main event match. So once it begins, out the gate, they start locking up holes. And you see CM Punk getting full control over Roman, shoulder tackle him and all that too, and push him down and just dominate most of the time. So it's going to be hard for me to paraphrase this matchup itself, but I'm going to do the best I could. It's literally been counters after counters. They've been going finisher to finishers, even, with Roman Reigns trying to hit his version of GTS on the CM Punk, hit it, and, even did the running knee. He also, in this case for CM Punk, he been did the Superman punch, also did his version of the spear, all of those things. But the sheer fact of that, and we saw that the Roman Reigns locking the guillotine multiple times on a CM Punk, through the duration of the match. And CM Punk also trying his best to lock in the Anaconda Vice too. So both men was definitely against type of offense band. And Roman, going back to his old Bloodline days, talking shit in the match and all that too. And he was end up dominating CM Punk in the process, into the point when Punk was trying to put Roman Reigns through the announce table for the first time. Roman was able to get out of that, and he was able to wrap CM Punk, tie him in there, and he got stuck between the ring posts. And this is where Roman Reigns starts to take advantage of it, hitting multiple Superman punches onto him. And him doing that, it busted Punk open in the mouth. And he proceeds to grab steel steps and hits CM Punk with it. And this is where I had to get calls to pause. And that was a sheer fact of, this was a standard match. It was a standard match that ref was forgetting to count out and stuff like that. Like, he would do it at one point and then completely forgets. And then when I saw that, I'm like, it should have been a disqualification, because the last time I checked, being a standard match, you using the steps on somebody versus you running them into the steel steps, that's considered a weapon, and it's disqualification. So after seeing that right there, it had me questioning, like, yo, did they just say fuck the rules and let them, had the main event match than what it was? Now, albeit I'm all in for the crash out stuff, I'm not gonna never rule that out. But the rules are still the rules. So if it's in full display right there, you gotta respect it. So that was really what confused me, in this match over here too. But as it progressed, you see Punk get busted open and all that too. So he's looking like a Crimson Mass. Roman does the ship power bomb, and he destroys one of the announce tables and all. So Punk is pretty much done at this point. And this when Roman was in full control. Then you seen Punk, he started to gain some offense as well. Hitting GTSs on him to cover him, but Roman's kicking out as well. It was to the point where it got towards the match. You know, they just sitting there and they just talking shit to each other, trading blows after blows, kick after kicks, elbow shot after elbow shots, kick, like all those things. So you see everything of that going down, and in the midst of that, there's when Roman started to gain control again. So towards the tail end of it, Roman Reigns, he's trying to capitalize on it, and Punk looks completely out of it. Like, he just looks done now. And you know, as Roman tried to go for the spear, I believe it was, I'm trying to think, either he connected it or Punk was able to counter it for a GTS. I think he countered it for the GTS. No. He did connect the spear, but you see CM Punk still staying on his knees, like it didn't affect him. So, you know, he talking his shit at that moment there too, and of course he had gained control at that time. Then he takes Roman out of the ring and once again put him on the announce table to see, all right, can I successfully hit it for a second time? So he gets onto the rope, you know, embracing the moment, taking a deep breath, and then jumps off and lands the elbow drop on the Roman Reigns, destroying the announce table again. So now it's just pure carnage all around the ring. And this was a magnificent match. It was very good pacing as well. You know, from start to finish there too. Both men talking their shit and all that, and gaining offense in it too. So, you know, the story was like writing itself through this matchup. So as that's happening, you see CM Punk grab Roman, throw him back in the ring, and in this case right here, he lifts him up for the GTS, successfully connects it. But Roman still stands up, and he's leaning on the ropes. So you see Punk, he's on his knees because he's like fatigued at this point, and Roman lands on his shoulder. So he looking to lift him up now to hit him for another GTS to pretty much packs him up and completely collapses. And you can tell he had nothing left in the tank. So as that's happening, Roman Reigns, you know, he gets up now and still trying to recover. In this case for CM Punk, you know, he's knowing like, damn, like I got nothing left, you know, just off his facial expressions. So he even tried to throw a punch to Roman, but was nowhere near him to connect it. So at this point, Roman like, all right, I got him I need to get to. So as Punk trying to get up, this was Roman golden opportunity to put him to rest, and he starts running the ropes multiple times and hits CM Punk with the spear and covers him for the 1, for the 2, for the 3, and he is your new world heavyweight champion. And I'll say this now, that was a magnificent main event. And what said it the most in this right here was the sheer fact that Roman Reigns did this without the help of the bloodline. He didn't need the Usos or anybody to get the job done. And that right there has said a lot, because remember what Punk kept saying to Roman Reigns in those interactions he had on Monday Night Raw. He clearly told him, you can never get the job done without your family. Whenever there's just something going on right now, they have to get involved to pretty much help you out. And you know that got to Roman there too, and this was a way to prove to him that I could get shit done with or without anybody. And we see that on full display there too. And now with this win here, you can tell he's back to his tribal chief ways now, especially as champion. And I am here for it. Pyro going off crazy here too, and this was exciting. Now, the only thing I will say in closing with the match, I want Roman to be heavily involved. You know, not in a part-time situation right there that we rarely see him and shit like that. No, I want him more involved there too. Don't have to compete and all that, but when the PLE's involved, like Backlash and anything else like that, I want to see him on there. You know, I don't want him on a part-time schedule similar to what Brock Lesnar was, because we saw how that was a full display when he was champion, you know, before he lost to Cody. And we do not need that. The title needs to stay as prestigious as it can So I could only hope that we'll get more of that going forward now that Roman Reigns being champion and all that. So that was dope right there to close out the show. And in my opinion, night 2 has saved WrestleMania outside of one match, between Gunther and Seth Rollins, Paige returning, and Bianca Belair revealing her pregnancy. Those are the only good things that came out of night 1. The rest was absolute shit. But night 2 delivered the way it did, and it was just fantastic. So, in this whole totality, if I had to give it a rating altogether, I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. And I'm doing that because of night 2 and what it delivered, especially for Brock and Oba retiring him. That alone sent that shit to new heights right now and made that rating higher. But everything else, and then the main event, it made up for it. So I enjoyed it as well. I want to thank y'all so much for being there and kicking it with me for both nights and all that too. This was fun, with my chat on stream and all that. We had an amazing time. Shout out to people, who tuned into my recap videos and stuff as well. As I break down everything the best way I could and all that stuff. And even putting clips up, on my social media. I appreciate y'all for checking that out and, just showing me love and support, man. Never going unnoticed and all that. I want to acknowledge y'all for that. And thank y'all so much. But comment down below. Let me know how y'all feel about night 2. What was your good moments from that show? I definitely want to understand and how you feel about how everything is going to go going forward. So we're definitely going to see what happens. We're going to unpack more, now that we close the chapter on this WrestleMania, and we'll see what happens, down the line and all that. But I appreciate y'all love and support. Road to 250 subscribers. Continue to keep God first. Just the process of anything that you do about life. Your time will come, and I'm gonna catch y'all on the next video. Peace.
Game over, yeah!